T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
This is it. We are in flight. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody, the first of 2026. Nowhere to go but up. or down, depending how you look at it. Listen, we're not going to get too serious over here for the next 2 hours. Settle in, have fun, top up your coffee if that's your thing. If you're out here in the Eastern time zone, I don't know, fill up your drinks and let's get ready to partay. It's a very, very busy show here on Game Plus Television. We're back to normal. We're on Game Plus TV Live. We're on Silver State Sports Entertainment Network in Nevada in Hour 2. Kevin the Medium joins us. He is in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Coming up later on, Jersey Jim Biringer, who's down here for the NHL Winter Classic in Florida, is going to be with us. Jim Barker is going to be with us. And Trey Dubuc, New Mexico long snapper of the NCAA, future CFL star, is going to be joining us later. But anyways, Kev is with us. How you doing, Kevin the Medium? And we're not off. We can't hear your microphone, so I hope this is not the same thing as we've had happen before. Can you fix your microphone, Kev? Producer Corey is telling me that you have muted your microphone, and we are not off to a very great start. Listen, am I just going to talk? Is that what we're doing? Well, Kevin gets his microphone figured out. Okay, point number one. Here's the thing, by the way, everybody. Kevin asked me what I wanted to talk about or what we were going to be talking about. Kev, when you get it figured out, just start talking. And I said, I don't know, what do you want to talk about? And he goes, World Juniors and Team Olympic hockey team announcements. I'm like, cool, listen, I get it. But it's a very, very, very fun time of year right now with the college football playoffs, the bowl season, NFL regular season winding up, the Winter Classic tonight, as I mentioned. So I said, did you at least watch some of the college football playoff? He said he watched the Ole Miss game. Just still can't hear you. Point one, Trinidad Chambliss passed for 362 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Lucas Carnero kicked his third field goal of the game with 6 seconds to go last night in the marquee game with a triple header of college football playoff quarterfinals on New Year's Day. Number 6, Mississippi, which, not that I didn't know this, but they've told the world they want to be referred to as Ole Miss, not Mississippi. That put them in front for good with 6 seconds to go. 39-34 victory for the Ole Miss Rebels over the third-ranked Georgia Bulldogs in a college football playoff quarterfinal in the Sugar Bowl. So that was the finale of 4 quarterfinals that kicked off on New Year's Eve. We all watched it here, the Miami Hurricanes upsetting the OSU Buckeyes. And then on the triple header on New Year's Day, it was Oregon, not a surprise, I don't think, beating Texas Tech here in the Orange Bowl. They've moved on. And Indiana routing the Alabama Crimson Tide and giving the Crimson Tide their biggest loss in program playoff history. We're not going to belabor that. Hopefully Kevin gets his mic figured out because this is what he wanted to talk about and you all want to talk about. I'll say this. I'm not going to complain about Kevin's microphone not working. This was a calamity in the summertime, and I don't have the energy in 2026 to lose my mind over calamities, because this is all the complaining that I've heard all week. People that had New Year's resolutions, did anybody resolve to stop bitching in the new year? Because if they did, I'd like to hear from you, because all I've heard from is the bitchers over these Winter Classic jerseys that the Florida Panthers are going to wear tonight at Lone Depot Park against the New York Rangers. I've heard the bitching about that. I've heard the bitching from everybody up north, not just Canadians, but people in the Northeast of the United States are upset that they're playing a Winter Classic here in South Florida, which incidentally it hit 0 degrees Celsius a couple of mornings this week, so it felt like hockey weather. And then bitching over the Olympics announcements. And because we don't have Kev right now, I can't get to your comments, but we will coming back after the break if that's a thing. The Team USA unveiled its roster for the upcoming Milan Cortina Winter Olympics today, with the vast majority of it comprised of players who took part in the Four Nations Face-Off last year or in February. The only additions that are new for Team USA, forwards Tage Thompson and Clayton Keller, defenseman Seth Jones, Thompson and Keller helped the U.S. win the World Hockey Championship for the first time since 1933, while Seth Jones was, of course, a key member of these Florida Panthers in their second consecutive Stanley Cup run. Only Anaheim's Chris Kreider and Adam Fox of the New York Rangers are not back from the Four Nations. Now, this is where I wanted to get into this with Kev, but he's not with us at the moment. I'm certainly planning on having him coming back after the break. And I know that it's a Football Friday, but we're just stick with me as we go off-roading here a little bit on this final day, as far as I'm concerned, the final day of the Christmas holidays. Because you know what? I didn't feel the need to take a break at all. But I understand everybody else wanted to. Game Plus wanted to take their break. People around our operation wanted to take their break, and that's totally cool. But it's been out of sync and off schedule for 2 weeks. Anyways, back to the bitching. Yesterday, I spent all day at Lone Depot Park with Jersey Jim, who will be on with us in hour 2 from NHLFullPress.com. And the first thing we heard was, all the Canadian media is doing is bitching about Sam Bennett not being on the team and this guy not on the team. And I'm like, I didn't know how to put it into words, and I didn't have a lot of energy for the complaints. But I sat there yesterday when Mike Sullivan, the head coach of the New York Rangers, I was from me to you away from Mike Sullivan, who's also coaching Team USA. And after getting peppered by questions from the assembled media there yesterday, he was like, listen, these are extremely, extremely difficult decisions.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I got you, Kev. We got you, Kev. There you go. We're like inside a minute left here before we take a break. So I'm going to get to the comments from the viewers and comments from you when we come back. So, Kev, just sit there and look pretty, which I know you're very, very good at. But what I said while you were trying to figure out your mic, Kev, was I said, if anybody had made a resolution, New Year's resolution to stop bitching, can I hear from them? Because all I've heard is bitching all week about the Canadian roster, about these Winter Classic jerseys for the Florida Panthers, about the fact that we're even playing a Winter Classic in Florida at all. Just bitch, bitch, bitch. And I don't want that on this show. And you know that. I don't think you do either, Kev.
No, it's Happy New Year, by the way. My apologies.
Yeah.
2026 is about positivity. That's my goal for 2026. I know that's your goal for 2026. So
it's every day.
We will be positive.
Yeah. Anybody who watches this show knows that's my goal every day. And the beautiful thing about being in long-term recovery like I am, every day is New Year's Day. Every single day. We make a resolution to be positive and good people every day. People might want to try that. We'll be coming right back, everybody. It's a very busy Football Friday. Hang on to your bingo cards. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
Okay, welcome back here on Game Plus TV. Let's turn those frowns upside down. Mine's going to stay this way. The Western Dodge text line is open, 902-518-3033. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit them in Moose Jaw or online at westerndodge.ca. Ryan O'Media has written in from the U.S. South. He says, Happy New Year, Rod and crew. There's a whole lot of negative comments in there that I want to leave. You just all stay amongst yourselves. I'm not here for that. Jeff in Toronto, for instance, goes, it's hard to be positive as a Buffalo and Blue Jays fan, and says, plus bitching drives the market for sports radio. Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm not like all the rest. Have you figured that out? That's why you're here today watching. I'm not like everybody else. So if you want to hear bitching, go over there. That's not going to be us. Hi, Kev.
How you doing, buddy? Are you having a good one?
Oh, yeah, I'm having it. Are you kidding me? Listen, can I talk about myself for a second? It is the Rod Pedersen Show, after all. I'm going to the Winter Classic. I'm going to the Winter Classic tonight with the New York Rangers and Florida Panthers. I believe, going to be meeting up with Ron Duguay, one of my childhood idols, in a suite which the New York Rangers have purchased for the game tonight at Lone Depot Park in Miami. So I've had the best week, and I'm ready to have a fantastic weekend, and I'm not going to let assholes bring me down. I'm not saying these viewers, no. They're P1s. I love them. But I'm not going to let any negativity bring me down. But having said all that, we got a lot to get to here. We got a lot of comments about the bowl playoffs, the quarterfinals, the World Juniors. But you're the guest. What would you like to talk about?
How about that football game last night with Ole Miss? I'm not a college guy, but wow, what a fun game to watch. Those two quarterbacks, they were like, it was schoolyard football. They were just running around, call a play and then just do whatever. It was just fun to watch. One thing I noticed, though, and it's driving me crazy, is why do they kick off after a touchdown? Why not just put the ball on the 25? Every touchdown, the ball just came out to the 25 because it ended up in the end zone. It drives me nuts, but that's besides the point.
You talking about the touchbacks?
No, the kickoffs after a touchdown. Right? They kick it off.
I see what you're saying. Well, they'll have to tweak that. I mean, let's be honest. The NFL did, and their returns are up 77% this year because they've changed the kickoff rules in the NFL. College, they're a little behind, but kind of ahead, to be honest. Their rules are way different than the NFL. Their overtime rules are the same as the CFL. But, it's funny you say that. because I know you want to talk about the World Juniors, and today is quarterfinal day at the World Juniors. It's like the biggest day at the World Juniors where there's always an upset. And it's funny because in Canada, nobody really cares about college football. I've known that. I lived there for a half century. But that might be changing a little bit because it was on all your televisions all day yesterday. Whereas in America, not only do people not care about the World Juniors, they don't even know what it is. And that's totally fine. We'll split that up between the hours. But I will say this, if you ever really got into the college football, and I'm not asking you or anybody for that matter to get into a Power 5 conference and FCS, FBS, that's all deep stuff. But as far as you just sit back and watch, it's awesome. It's awesome.
And literally, I just got to sit back and watch that game. No skin in the game. I didn't even know who the players were. Didn't recognize the name. It was just, wow, this is just, as a pure football fan, this is just fun to watch. Coaching was good. It was just a good game.
Is that not what we're really after at the end of the day? Like, is to be entertained? I mean, Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback for Ole Miss, for $1 million, I couldn't have told you who Ole Miss's quarterback is. I haven't watched an Ole Miss game all year. But Tony from Cochrane, who I know is watching, and he wrote in here earlier about the Indiana coach, Curt Cignetti. Where the hell is your comment, Tony? He goes, I love the Hoosiers coach after the blowout win, saying it's going to be a hell of a movie. Which it should be. With the number 2, 3, and 4 eliminated, they should take it all now. Yeah, Curt Cignetti was asked about his time as coach at Indiana. That was the question. And he's like, it'll make a hell of a movie, which we know the Hoosiers know something about great sports movies. But anyway, so if you ever just took the time to just look into it, like for me, we had a watch party on New Year's Eve watching the Miami Hurricanes. You can't live here and not get swept up and it's all about the U, baby. Like they're as popular as the Dolphins, especially now because they're winning and they're going to the semifinals. So I'll just say again, what did you do New Year's Eve? You weren't watching football New Year's Eve, you said.
No, we went out for dinner at the Salt Lick here in Calgary, a nice little steakhouse, and then sat on a buddy's balcony and watched the midnight fireworks. It was quite a great night, actually. It was fun.
All right. Well, that's the way it's supposed to be. By the way, somebody said smash the likes, people. That's the one thing that I've learned. I don't know. I am an old dog trying to do new tricks and doing okay at it. But if you are watching on YouTube, please click like. It helps us out quite a bit. From what I understand, that's what the young people tell me. And as I say that we're going off-roading here, we're going off-roading because people are writing in, and I love it. But they're writing about the NFL. They're talking about the World Juniors. They're talking about the Olympic team. We can only talk about one thing at a time. So we're going to do our best to get to it all. We have a very busy day today with Jim Barker coming on, Jersey Jim coming on, my good friend long snapper Trey Dubuc from the New Mexico Lobos coming on. So just sit tight, everybody. Tony from Cochrane writes in, he says, 2026 is starting off really positively with Team Canada undefeated and the Flames back to 500. The Flames are almost in a playoff spot. Like what? I think we're all okay with just saying 2025. GT, get the F out of here. Yeah. By 2025 with everything. Because it is starting off really amazing. And Dan in Winnipeg writes in and he says, do you think Canada, Rod, is going to win gold in the World Juniors? Look, we're Canada, and we expect to win every tournament. So don't ask me if I think they will. I think they will win every time. End of story. And Kev, this is when you really get into junior hockey this time of year.
This is my tournament. I look forward to the World Juniors all year. I couldn't name half the players before, except the top probably 4 or 5. I don't follow World Juniors enough, but I just love this tournament. And as far as will we win? Well, we have to get by today. The last 2 years proved don't be putting anything for granted. Got to get by this game today against Slovakia. And then who knows? I mean, get by today and my hopes go way up.
Yeah, well, and it's with me. Look, call me dumb if you want. Not you, Kev, but anybody else. I have been called that before. I can't keep my mind on any more than one thing. So, like, for instance, I've had a lot of friends messaging me this week over various things. A lot of it is sports related. And I'm like, what are you watching this week? And it's like World Juniors, college football, NFL, like everybody's into something different, which is really exciting. But I can't tell you who the greatest challengers are for Canada at the World Juniors. And it's not like I'm not interested. Yesterday, I had a great opportunity to interview Braden Schneider of the New York Rangers, one-on-one, Kev. You might have seen the photo on Facebook. And he's from Prince Albert, where I lived for 3 years as the voice of the Raiders. And we had the best talk about growing up and playing on outdoor rinks. He goes, actually, there was outdoor rinks at both my schools. I said, what were your schools? He goes, Vickers and my high school. I said, Carlton Comp? He's like, yeah. So, like, I'm just full on with a Winter Classic. And I said, are you following the World Juniors? And he's like, I am. And so we had that conversation there. But it's just like literally everybody is all over. It's crazy. Yeah. And there's some stupid things are being written in here, too. I won't even get into the Phillip Rivers comment. And I don't know. I mean, are we going to be able to turn the page? Like, I'm trying to bring my mind back here on single lane highway, not the 6 lanes plus 6 coming the other way that I've been driving here in South Florida. So I feel like right now I'm on the I-95 with 12 lanes. That's what I feel like right now. Let's just narrow it down. Wayne writes in from Victoria, BC on the Western Dodge text line. He says, good morning, Rod, squad, and crew. I'm at the age that I've already tried resolutions over the years, and most haven't worked for me. Can I give you a little tidbit and tell you something, Wayne? You're the reason the resolutions didn't work. Just marinate on that for a minute. It's not the resolutions that didn't work. You didn't. And then Navy Dawn writes in, my good friend from Ottawa. He says, too bad Canada can't match the production level for CIS football or U sports in general. U.S. TV can make a tiddlywinks competition must-see TV. Can we also maybe turn the page on that? Like, have you seen the attendance? Why would they televise university sports in Canada? Don't get mad at me. 8,000 people showed up for the Vanier Cup. I was just talking to a guy about it yesterday. Guy, if you were the TV networks, would you televise it in empty facilities? Give me a break. I kind of like you, Don, to move on from that if possible. Thoughts, Kev?
Some people are just stuck in their old ways, Rod. We can't change the world. Obviously, when you're talking Canadian university compared to the U.S. college football system, come on, it's apples and cars. There's literally no comparison.
No, it's just I love Navy Dawn. We went for lunch one of the last times we were together in Regina. We went to Pump Jack's Cathedral, one of our sponsors, but it's just this Canadian university and the television. It's not the ship has sailed, Don. You would understand that. Gone. Bye.
So
they're not televising it.
So much would need to happen for the major networks in Canada to pick up college or university games that it's going to take decades before that would even happen.
I understand it's a chicken and the egg argument. You televise it, more people get interested. We don't televise it because nobody's interested. I don't know the answer to it, but I'm not spending any more time on it because it's not my job to fix. Bob in Medicine Hat writes in on the Western Dodge text line, 902-518-3033. He says, good morning, Rod. Bob from Medicine Hat, back watching you again. Enjoy your show. Health and happiness to you and your family in 2026. Thank you, Bob. It frankly did kill me. It did to not be on the air for the past 2 weeks on Game Plus. Because I understand that. And Joe's the same, our business manager. It's like out of sight, out of mind, especially in this competitive world that we're in of sports media. You know, which reminds me, since we're sitting here off-roading, I told Kev that this would be a all over the place episode today, and you were okay with it. I spent some time with Steve Simmons yesterday, the iconic columnist for the Toronto Sun. He lives here in the wintertime, Pompano Beach. He wrote a column today that said, Florida Panthers silently furious over Sam Bennett being left off Team Canada. And I'm like, if that isn't the most sensationalistic headline, and I don't know if Steve wrote the headline, but he probably did. I don't think they're furious over Sam Bennett being left off the Canadian roster. Maybe they are, but I'm around that team every single day, and I've never heard that. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's this. We got to grab everybody's attention. And now, Kev, it's worse. You're just getting into this media world. How do you like this shitty trade that you, for whatever reason, want to be a part of?
You know I love it. But you're right. The clickbait that's out there is just, and right now, I mean, there's so much trying to grab your attention from college to World Juniors to the Olympics to the NFL, blah, 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 that you try your best to do it. I mean, we do it with the Hughes Sports Podcast, trying to get Hughes trending. Of course we did. Why wouldn't we?
Yeah. From the audience, by the way, we'll try and turn the frowns upside down, as I said. Carlos in Indianapolis says, hey, we're back to normal after this weekend. We're back to normal today because we're on Game Plus television. Navy Don says, he goes, yeah, I know about the Canadian sports and television. He says, but Canadians should quit bitching that the USA is not interested in the World Juniors. Asking Canadians not to bitch is like asking the sky not to be blue. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV.
Are you ready? January 8th to 11th, it all goes down in Moose Jaw at the Yara Center. The Battle on the Prairies. NCAA rules. 25 elite teams. Alberta, Boston, Texas, Mexico, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. All under one roof. Come watch live. Tickets available right at the door. Pay-per-view will be available at ikslive.ca.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
We continue on the RP Show, Hour 1, Canadian Sports. Kevin the Medium's with me. It's already our final segment with him, but because it is the Canadian Hour, I'll do this in our junior hockey report that we do daily for the Mad Greek Restaurant in Moose Jaw. The quarterfinals go tonight in Minneapolis as Canada takes on Slovakia at the World Juniors. The Canadians went undefeated in 4 games to finish atop Group B. They are looking to avoid the same fate as the last 2 years. Quarterfinal losses to Czechia, leading to 5th place finishes. They say, the story says tonight, but they actually start at 1 p.m. Eastern today. 4 games. There's always an upset, and I have no idea which game it is. Jersey Jim will be with us later on. He thinks Finland's going to upset the USA today, but if you're looking for eats for tonight, head to the Mad Greek in Moose Jaw. Experience authentic Greek flavors right in Moose Jaw at the Mad Greek Eatery, open until 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in at the madgreekeatery.com. Okay, Kev, are you planning on watching Team Canada tonight?
I plan on watching all 4 games today. I'm going to be the couch potato. I'm going to be sitting there just chilling, watching, and yeah, I'll be watching that one. It'll be fun.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
Of course. This is the best day at the World Juniors, and I will get to a lot more college football playoff talk later on when Jersey Jim joins, and Jim Barker as well. But you said you wanted to talk about Team Canada, Team USA, Olympic rosters, and which I don't have a problem with. And I want to point something out here. I'm trying to dance outside the fire, like the old Garth Brooks song, and stay out of the fire, and just somewhat be a fan and a talk show host. Because when you're here, you're not on the front lines. But yesterday, I was on the front lines, and I'll say this again. I was, when you were fiddling with your mic off the top, I was saying I was from me to you away from Mike Sullivan, the head coach of the New York Rangers yesterday, and he was getting pushed by the media about Adam Fox being left off Team USA. And he just finally, number one, it must have been very hard for the Pittsburgh Penguins to fire Mike Sullivan because he's led them to Stanley Cup wins, and he's just an impressive guy. And he was like, look, these are extremely, extremely difficult decisions. It was like finally, Kev was like, he had enough. You don't think we want Adam Fox? He didn't say that, but it's like he was just very forceful and clear about it. And the good thing is, I like being around the guys. They're my guys, but I also don't really want to know I don't really want to know the inside. I don't really want to know it because it's safer to not know the inside on everything. But I want to say this again because you're in Canada. I'm assuming all it's been since Canada's announcement is bitching about the roster. Am I right?
It is, and it's literally driving me crazy. I always, when someone complains, oh, this person didn't make it, Bedard's not on there, Shea, blah, blah, I look at them and I say, who do you drop off? You can only have X number of players. You make the pick. And then they mention a player, and I'm like, well, all his fans are going to be mad because he didn't make it. You can't win in this situation. And if you don't win a gold medal, then it's, well, you didn't put Bedard on there. Oh, you didn't put so-and-so on there. I would hate to be the person who has to pick this team because you can't win. There's no winning on this team.
Well, and I'm seeing it with the U.S. roster too, as what I said. I'm learning a hell of a lot because Paul Maurice said yesterday, he was like, have they announced the U.S. roster yet? And everybody's like, no. He's like, oh, okay, then I won't say anything. It's like everybody is known for days who's on that roster, but nobody's reporting it. Back in the day, there would have been a rush to be the guy to break the story of who's on the rosters. But now you get your fingers cut off if you break a story like that. So it's just weird, and that's why I just I'm still trying to learn it all. But I was speaking with my sponsor Bob this morning about all of this, and I said the fans think, Kev, and you're now in between. You're still an irrational fan, but you also host a popular sports podcast, so you're kind of in between. The fans think this is fantasy sports. There's emotions that go into this. There's personalities that go into this. And as you just said, if you don't win the gold medal, you got a lot of explaining to do. So,
And
go ahead.
underneath it all, it's a business. The Olympics is a business. We can say what we want. It's about pride. It's about our national pride. When it comes down to it, it's strictly business. Who is going to make our team the best so we can win the gold medal? Period. End of story. There's no, he's Canadian and he's played for 20 years, so we have to have him. No. It's business. What's best for business?
Here's me. I'm not railing on the media. As I said, I'm trying to figure it all out. But I saw that you saw this because you commented on our Facebook page. I put the Team Canada roster on, and I just put no Bedard with a crying emoji. I knew the reaction it would get. And, of course, people were writing in going, he's injured. He's injured. You think I don't know that? I'm his biggest fan. I just put it up there for the reaction. And we got it. But yeah, well, what Kev's saying, and he's not wrong, is they're not snubbing somebody to purposely hurt their feelings, or they're doing what they think is best for the team. That's where I go back to, this ain't a fantasy roster where you're just selecting your guy on NFL Sunday. No, it's not that. You're going to have to tell Connor Bedard why you didn't bring him, or Mark Scheifele, or Adam Fox for Team USA. That's all. Any thoughts on this before I dip back to football on a Football Friday?
All this talk about roster, and we still don't know if we're actually going to play the games, because we don't even know if the arena is going to be ready or not. That hasn't even been decided yet. That's coming up in the next week or two.
Speaking to a million rumors about that as well. And what I hear is if the rink's not ready, they'll play somewhere else. But NHLers are going to Italy. Okay, point 3, a fun one for the NFL on a Football Friday we haven't even talked about yet. Aaron Rodgers isn't talking like somebody ready to retire. The Steelers quarterback, who recently turned 42, hasn't ruled out returning next season in Pittsburgh. He says he believes he'll have options if he wants to play a 22nd season. He just signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers, but he's thrown for more than 3,000 yards and 23 tuds for Pittsburgh this year, and they're hosting Baltimore in a regular season finale that has the AFC North title on the line. That's our poll question today for EMJ Marketing. Should the Steelers bring Aaron Rodgers back? And I was a little shocked. First poll reporting, 72% saying no, they should not bring him back, which stunned me. What are you voting on that, Kev?
I voted yes. I say yes with an asterisk. If he feels he can perform, he's the only one that can decide that. He's earned the right. Yeah, I think you bring him back. He didn't look bad this year, so why wouldn't you?
No, and that's back to, we only know what we see on that 70-inch screen that we have. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Is Aaron Rodgers a good team guy? Is he a bad team guy? Who knows? They say that he always makes it about him. He's a 4-time NFL MVP. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and he's got the Steelers on the cusp of winning the division. And as I said earlier this week, you're seeing why they waited 2 months for him to make his decision whether he was going to play or not. And you being the medium, you can bring in the spirit guides if you want, Kev. People would say, where would they be without Aaron Rodgers? Doesn't matter, because they have him. Or what would they have done without him? Doesn't matter. They got him, right?
Yeah, that's like saying, what would we have if we didn't have cheese on our grilled cheese sandwiches? Well, you have it, so why would you even think? It's one of those questions where I get asked, well, what if this happened? Well, what if? What if you crossed the road and a truck came by? Oops. There's so many different things that could be, or what ifs. I don't play in the what ifs. I play in the now. So for now, why wouldn't you bring him back?
It's a pointless question to say, where would they be without him? Because they have him.
Yes.
Jeff in Toronto writes in and he says, I said no because they need to develop a quarterback. That's fine too, but they've tried. They've drafted Pickett. They brought in Russell Wilson. That didn't work. They tried Mason Rudolph. They tried to develop guys. And maybe we'll put that to Jim Barker next hour. But things are different now. with shorter term contracts and the salary cap and the win now mentality more than anything. Nobody's patient anymore. Nobody. Like if the Steelers lose Sunday, Mike Tomlin might be fired. He might. There's a very good chance of that.
You nailed it. The win now attitude. It's now. We have to do it now, not tomorrow.
There's
now.
No patience to develop a quarterback. So, okay, Kev, this has been awesome. Better late than never. We got it. Got you on. Have a great weekend. We'll talk with you next week.
Talk to you next week. Have a good one, everybody.
We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody, on a Football Friday. Oh, we got big news. All kinds of things. Jim Barker coming up next hour. Jersey, Jim Biringer. This from iTix Now. South Florida's #1 ticket buying marketplace for Florida Panthers fans. They're having a pre-game party prior to the Winter Classic tonight. I'm reading as it is written on Instagram from iTix Now. We're excited to announce 2 special guest appearances at our pregame party and bar takeover. Big C's from the Big C's podcast, and Rod Pedersen, host of the Cats and Bolts podcast. They'll be stopping by to hang out with fans, talk hockey, and turn up the energy before puck drop. And don't forget, Panther Muscle fan will be in the house. And Jersey Jim Biringer, too. Oh, yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a gong show in downtown Miami tonight. And, well, every night is. But tonight, it's going to be because of the wonderful sport of hockey. Okay, so I got your captive attention here on the final show of the week, the first show of the new year. I just tell me what you think, okay? We've lasted 1,647 episodes. Miraculously, let's be honest. And I'm thinking maybe we'll get rid of the quick six show topics. Maybe we'll get rid of the quick six show topics because I'm totally off road here. Or like, do you like them? Because I'm sitting there going, for anybody that watches in Nevada, we get to like 3. We don't even get to the full 6. And it came up because I had the NBA and what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's doing tonight with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I didn't even mention it. Should we get rid of the quick 6? You know, when we started this show, it was the Magnificent 7, and I can't remember all the show. Things have changed. Maybe it's time for a change. I don't know. What I do know is that the sports update is brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw. Your home for jerseys, collectibles, and all the gear you need. Visit them today or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca. What I tell everybody, it's like Jersey City used to be. Great. Jerseys, hats, T-shirts, quarter zips, you name, plus collectibles. They got it all. Ultimate Fan Zone. I love it. They bring you the sports updates, and because we're in the Canadian hour here, Canada and Slovakia face off tonight in quarterfinal play at the World Juniors. Canada lost in the quarters at the last 2 tournaments after winning their 17th gold in 2023. Sweden meets Latvia. Czechia takes on Finland. Is that right? And 2-time defending. Yeah, no, that's wrong. Why am I paying for this service? Thank God I got it written down. Latvia, Sweden, Switzerland, Czechia, Finland, USA, and Slovakia, Canada, as mentioned. Jersey Jim says, because there is always an upset, sometimes more than one, but there's always at least one on quarterfinal day at the World Jays. He's saying it's going to be Finland over USA. The Vancouver Canucks host the Seattle Kraken as part of tonight's NHL play. The Canucks have won just one of their last 4 games, but that was a 3-2 shootout victory over Seattle on Monday. The Winnipeg Jets and Ottawa Senators each have 2 players heading to the Olympics as part of the American men's hockey team. Jets goalie Connor Hellebuck and forward Kyle Connor were named to the team today, along with Ottawa defenseman Jake Sanderson. They joined Sens captain Brady Tkachuk and Leafs captain Austin Matthews, who were among the first 6 players named to the team in July. Canadian star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder will visit Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors in NBA play tonight. The Thunder have won 3 straight to open up a 4.5-game lead over San Antonio in the Western Conference standings. The Warriors are 8th in the West after back-to-back wins. And that is the sports update, proudly presented by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store. Get your game day gear in store or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Okay. I feel like we're just warming up. We're getting to all of the topics today. Now, because what Kev said, and while he is actually football first, he wanted to talk about the World Juniors. He wanted to talk about the Olympic rosters and the snubs. Thank you, Jeff the Stamps fan, for responding. He says, maybe do a quick 3. Not a bad idea. I will take all of your suggestions under advisement over the weekend. But you're right. We only usually get to like 3, but I like to be over-prepared in the event of if the viewers ever let me down without comments, but you don't ever let me down. That's the fun part of this show. Regarding who's going to win the World Juniors, the Olympics, Tony and Cochran writes in and he says, an all-star team is not guaranteed anything. It's more about chemistry and role players, i.e. penalty killers, etc. And I'm sure that's why, look, I get it, that the Canadian pundits are upset that Sam Bennett was left off the Canadian roster because he fills such an important role. He did at the Four Nations face-off for Canada. He does for the Florida Panthers, but he had a very poor first half of the season. And clearly that does play into these types of decisions. But again, as my phone's been going off all about this, not everybody can go. And now, if we have time with Jersey Jim next hour, we'll talk about this. But we got a million things to get to with Jersey Jim. And a lot of that will have to do with college football, by the way. Because I think he'll confirm or deny, but as much college football as he is NHL. But he was sitting right beside me yesterday when Mike Sullivan, the coach of the New York Rangers and Team USA, was in the room going, look, these are extremely, extremely difficult decisions. Not easy for them either. The pressure is immense. I really had an eye-opener yesterday, too, because I'd been to a Heritage Classic before, but not on the front lines like yesterday. And that was the Heritage Classic in Regina, which Paul Maurice said was one of his best hockey memories because of the atmosphere, and it was really great. But I said to Jim, there's like 12 writers here from NHL.com, and then another 5 from the NewYorkRangers.com. I'm like, where is the New York Daily News? Where's WABC? Where's WFAN? Where's Sports? What is it? Sports Channel USA. They're not around anymore, bro. What? Because here in South Florida, it's not exactly a media mecca when it comes to hockey. New York is. I'm like, these guys all write for the league. Yep. What's your point? Not the way it used to be. John in Edmonton says, Rod, I think the Winter Classic should be played outside and not in a stadium with a roof. It's called the Winter Classic for a reason. Well, thank God you're not in charge, John. That's what I had to say about that. And by the way, we will be opening the roof tonight, so it's going to be in an open-air stadium. Laverne writes in, and this is something that I want to get to with Jersey Jim next hour. Laverne is writing from the Frontier City and says, hey, RP and crew, Happy New Year. What is going on with the Buffalo Sabres? 10 straight wins. I love it. Do we want to get into that with Jersey Jim? Because I do. On a Football Friday, I asked Jim to come up with the top 5, bottom 5 in the NHL. I was prepping, doing other stuff for this show. I said, Jim, can you do it? He's like, absolutely. He's got Colorado 1, Tampa Bay 2, Buffalo 3, Dallas 4, Minnesota 5. I'm like, Sabres top 5? He's like, they won 10 in a row. What does this say about general manager Kevin Adams that was fired? He assembled this bunch that have won 10 in a row and are the hottest team in the NHL, yet they only started winning once they fired him. What does this say? 6, 7 games in a row, I kind of got that. 10 in a row? His bottom 5, by the way, are these. Team 28, New York Rangers. 29, Vancouver Canucks. Team 30, St. Louis Blues. Oh, I had that wrong. Oh, Rangers, Chicago, St. Louis, Vancouver, Winnipeg Jets. 32nd overall. Don't shoot the messenger. Allie writes in from Sherwood Park. 902-518-3033 on the Western Dodge text line. And Allie says, Happy New Year's to you and all the crew from Allie and Kevin. Continued success, health, and happiness for yourself and everyone in 2026. Well, I would say right back at you, Allie. Thank you for tuning in every day and being a special part of our world. The show's going fast. It's going great. And a lot of that has to do with our broadcast feed out of Florida. And I will say this, our last show we did on New Year's Eve, it was a little bumpy and rough, and we don't know. Well, producer Corey knows why, because he told me that there was storms going on around the area and between here and the Skycron production room and blah, blah, blah. And while it was a little stressful at the time, I was watching the Christmas Day game with the Dallas Cowboys and Washington Commanders, and they beamed in Emmitt Smith, or tried, for an interview in the middle of the second quarter. That was all choppy and bumpy, and same thing happened yesterday on the ESPN College Game Day pregame show. They tried to bring in Mario Cristobal of the Miami Hurricanes, and that didn't work. It happens. It happens to everybody in this business. But we're having a great feed today. It's made me very happy. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, it's starting to look like a Flames-Sabres Stanley Cup. LOL. We'll call it the Pedersen Bowl. Colin Pedersen played for 2 teams in the National Hockey League, Calgary Flames, Buffalo Sabres. You heard it here first. Ryan in upstate New York says the Sabres are a wagon right now. I never thought I'd be saying that, like ever. Yeah, you and everybody, Ryan. Jeff in Toronto writes in, says, I told you the Sabres will make the playoffs this year. You say that every year. What else? Brent in Saskatoon writes in, he says, Aaron Rodgers is playing well right now. Steelers could bring him back. He is one in Green Bay. And as a Lions fan, I'd love to see him retire. Everybody hates Aaron Rodgers outside Green Bay. A lot of things to get to next hour, and it's going to be a busy one. Jersey Jim Biringer, Jim Barker, and New Mexico long snapper Trey Dubuc to talk college football, and he has some CFL things to get off his chest. It's all coming up after this brief pause on the Game Plus Television Network, and we're coming up on Silver State Sports Entertainment Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. We're coming at you on the Game Plus Television Network and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, where we have been with you all week long. Also, WQVZ Radio, podcast form, YouTube Live, a very special treat for you. First show of the new year of 2026. On the day of the Winter Classic, we've got the great Jersey Jim Biringer with us. Yo, what up?
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here.
Jay Hizzy.
Jay Hizzy in the house, his house.
Tell him why you're here. Tell him why you're here, man.
Guys, down here, Winter Classic. Cannot wait for it tonight. South Florida Field. Glad to be here. Glad to be here with you, Rod. Glad to be back on the show. It is awesome to be down here, away from the cold weather of New Jersey. I'm done with winter. I want warm weather from now on.
Okay, we had a heck of a lot of hockey talk in hour one on Game Plus. Here as we go across Nevada on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and, of course, Game Plus. Well, they love the hockey talk, but it is a football Friday. Jim Barker coming up later on this hour, and Trey Dubuc, my good friend, New Mexico Lobos long snapper who had a heartbreaking loss in the Rate Bowl in overtime. He'll be joining us here from South Florida. But let's start with this. You're a big college football guy. What a triple header of college football playoff games on Thursday. New Year's Day, Trinidad Chambliss passed for 362 yards and 2 tuds, and Lucas Carnero kicked his third field goal of the game with 6 seconds to go, and Ole Miss upset Georgia 39-34 to move into the semifinals. The other quarterfinal winners were Miami, Oregon, and Indiana. Man, it was a lot of fun. You and I were at the Winter Classic news conferences yesterday. We weren't able to watch a lot of it, but what a wild day.
Yeah, I mean, we got back for the best game. Let's be honest, Rod. Let's be honest. Ole Miss and Georgia, best game of the night. You look at Oregon routed, Texas Tech again. Before Indiana and Ole Miss won, look, now, which I think is 1-7 now, teams are off the bye in this playoff format. That's crazy to think that teams off the bye are 1-7. And look, think about it. Oregon lost, Ohio State lost, Miami played well. But I said going into New Year's Day, the game to watch was Ole Miss and Georgia, and I wasn't wrong.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. What do you think it is about Ole Miss because nobody saw that coming? That was like the biggest point spread going into all 4 games was that Georgia was going to speedboat Ole Miss, and it didn't happen.
No, I think a lot of people put perception about Georgia, especially the way they shellacked Alabama in the SEC title game. They held Alabama to -3 rushing yards. They put up 28-3 was a victory. Like I've said multiple times heading into these games, if these games had been played after championship weekend, I think Georgia would have steamrolled everybody because they were playing the best. But 26 days off, it matters. It's hard to replicate gameplay in practice. Obviously, Indiana showed that didn't matter. 26 days off, they're the best team in the nation. But to me, a team like Georgia needed that flow to get in rhythm, especially against a divisional opponent like Ole Miss. And let's bring it to the NFL for a minute. You look at teams playing twice, especially going to the playoffs. It's hard to beat a team twice. Ole Miss proved that Thursday night.
Yeah, no kidding. By the way, we're getting through everything here. It's a short-ish segment. The viewers love Jersey Jim. Ryan in upstate New York writes in and says, Jersey Jim. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, live in studio. My viewers love you, Jim, and I know it's mutual.
Absolutely. It is mutual. I love the show. I love the viewers. Glad to be a part of the interaction. Questions are great. Viewers are great. Love the comments. Always looking forward to the next time being on.
I didn't even tell you. He's from NHLRumors.com, NHLFullPress.com. And what's the name of your college football site?
No, it's just the Full Press Media on Substack. You can get the college football there, but Nightcap, Recap, get it on Specialty Media, as well as Around Campus College Football Podcast I do as well.
Yeah, so Jersey Jim is in the house, but we're going to go fast. We spent the whole day yesterday at the news conferences with the Florida Panthers and New York Rangers getting ahead of tonight's Winter Classic, which we'll be going to. Point 2 of the Quick Six is this. The U.S. unveiled its roster this morning for the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics, with the vast majority of it comprised of players who took part in the Four Nations face-off earlier last year. The only additions are forwards Tage Thompson of those Red Hot Sabres, Clayton Keller, and defenseman Seth Jones. I feel like there's far less debate over Team USA than there is for what you've seen with Team Canada.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing for me would be up front. I think a lot of people, especially in the Montreal market, looking at Cole Caulfield, Dallas market, Jason Robertson, as well as Elaine Hudson not being on the team. Obviously, New York, Adam Fox not being on the team, considering Chris Drury's an assistant GM with Team USA and Mike Sullivan's a head coach. But again, perception narratives about Fox's play kept him off. But I think everybody agreed that Tage Thompson and Clayton Keller, who, by the way, ended Team USA's 92-year drought at the World Championships, winning gold this past spring, they deserve to be on the team. So good call by Bill Guerin there.
Checking in with the Western Dodge text line, 902-518-3033. Noni writes in, she says, Happy New Year, Rod. I'm in Puerto Vallarta for the winter, but happy I can still catch your show on YouTube. Have fun at the Winter Classic, and so glad you have Jersey Jim with you. See, you're very popular with the guests. Jersey Jim Biringer in from the Garden State. I know you got family watching. Do you want to say hi to any of them?
Yeah. Hey, Mom, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Glad to be here down in Florida. Thank you for the opportunity and always love the support.
Yeah, one thing I learned, especially hanging out with those New York people yesterday and some New Jersey people, is that we do have a lot of viewers in the Empire State and the Garden State. So hello to everybody tuned in. And, of course, across Nevada, too, but in the tri-state area here on Game Plus Television. Kirk in Toronto writes in, he says, there is a reason there are no polar bears or penguins in Florida. Well, you know what? We're okay with that. Yeah. But having said that, Jim, it is a little cold. For us, it's been a little cold.
Yeah, a little nippy in the morning. Nice Vermont air, I would say, in the morning and at night. But that's okay. We call it up there, up north in the summer, it's an official deck night when we say that, when it's that cool.
It's so cold, everybody. I had to put the windows in my Jeep. Pray for us.
What about the palm trees that were sagging?
Even the palm trees were sad this week. It hit 0 Celsius. That's freezing. 32 Fahrenheit. But anyways, it's rounding up a little better today. What do we got here? Brent in Saskatoon writes in. He says, Jersey Jim rocks. Yeah. Matthew I6G writes in. He says, I talked to you the other night, Jim. Glad you're down here, man. Do you remember Matthew? Where was that?
I do know Matthew. I think it was on one of the Cats and Rats podcasts or one of the shows I do. Everybody's interacting with me on Twitter, on X, Instagram, everybody. So can't wait to meet everybody tonight at the Winter Classic. Always great interaction with the group.
And for the special pregame party downtown Miami, it's not just me and C's going to be there, but Jersey Jim's coming too. So all of y'all that are going to be there, you're going to have a big surprise when Jersey Jim gets in the house.
See ya. I'll be there.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the play. We'll figure it out once we get off the air. Okay. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta gets us back on the road of a football Friday. Thank you, Tony. He says, I flippantly threw out several weeks ago a Bears-Broncos Super Bowl, and now that looks like a real possibility. Wow. Listen, we had a wild CFL season, which you follow, but not as closely as everybody else. The NHL season's been drunk, and the NFL season is winding up insane.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, look, I would not be shocked, Bears-Broncos, though I will say about the Broncos not battle-tested in the playoffs. Let's see, like if a team like Buffalo has to go into Denver, play a team like the Broncos, we know what Josh Allen can do. I've talked to a lot of Broncos fans, Rod. They are afraid of the Buffalo Bills.
Should they be?
No, they shouldn't be.
No, I don't think so.
But the experience of Josh Allen in the playoffs and the non-experience of Bo Nix in the playoffs, I think could be a huge factor.
Right. But how do you get experience?
You got to play.
Yeah, and that's where I think Bo Nix. Listen, way more pressure on the Bills and Josh Allen. Like, could you see the Broncos advancing as far as the AFC conference championship?
Yes, absolutely. I could see it for sure. Broncos one of the best teams in the AFC right now.
And then we just assume the Bills will be there.
Yeah,
because they always are before they lose to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think the pressure's on the Bills, though. I mean, maybe no Lamar and the Ravens not being there. I mean, again, big game with the Steelers this weekend, happening on Saturday. So, I mean, look, I could see the Bills and Broncos meeting up somewhere. But again, what Bills team? It's like Alabama. What Alabama team's going to show up? What Bills team's going to show up? Is it the good Bills team or is it the team that's been during most of the season?
Dropped. Laid an egg here in Miami. Laid an egg in Houston. That's what's got me worried about the Buffalo Bills. I don't know what it is, Jersey Jim. You're glowing today. Wayne writes in from Victoria, BC, says, I love seeing Jersey Jim on the RP show again. How about that? As Rick Regan would say. There's all kinds of comments coming in like that. 902-518-3033. As we go fast, and Jim Barker's coming up in the next segment, a lot of college football talk, any CFL that there is, but I feel like they're hibernating, and NFL talk with Jim Barker. But it is World Junior quarterfinal day. Let's be honest. That's like Christmas.
Oh, love it.
Really is.
Love it.
It's a very special day.
This is the best day of the World Juniors by far. Like, I know everybody talks about semifinals, gold medal, bronze, like all medal days are important for these young kids because that's what they are, kids. But if you talk to anybody who's been around that tournament, you've been there live. I've been there. I've watched it. This is the best day. It's quarterfinal day at the World Juniors. You can't pass it up.
There's always one upset. Who do you think it'll be?
I think Finland's going to be Team USA, the two-time defending gold medalist. I really do. I'm not impressed with Team USA this year. Goaltending, there's no Trey Augustine. Their goaltending has been very, very shaky. Bob Moskow has really said that that's been an area of weakness. They're trying to outscore a lot of their problems. You saw it against Sweden. Maybe the coaches win back the room. I think they needed a game like that. So to me, Finland always very tough in this type of tournament, especially in the knockout stage. And I will be I'm going to watch this game very closely, keep an eye on it when we're at the game. But I have a feeling Slovakia is going to play Canada very, very tough again.
All Canada's games have been relatively tough in this tournament.
Yeah.
That's the way it's been. So it's no slam dunk tonight is what you're saying.
No slam dunk whatsoever. If everybody's confident in Canada winning tonight, if you have the shock face after Slovakia wins, don't, because the Slovaks always have a good team.
This is wild. We're getting through all the topics with Jersey Jim and on time and on schedule here. But John writes in, he's watching in Rosetown. He says, huge NFC West game tonight. Seahawks and 49ers. Go Hawks. That's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Yeah,
both games are tomorrow. I believe the Steelers and Ravens tomorrow and Seahawks 49ers on Saturday. Those are the two big games.
I don't want to burst your bubble. Well, it's actually Tampa Bay, Carolina Saturday.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, Carolina.
And Seahawks 49ers. So, John, you'll have to find something else to watch. Maybe you'll enjoy the Winter Classic tonight, which let's wind this up about hockey, and then I'll move you out. We'll move Jim Barker in. They want to ask you about the Sabres.
Ooh.
What is going on?
They got a new attitude, Rod. They got a new GM. They believe in what Lindy Ruff is buying. Tage Thompson, those guys are buying into the system, playing well. Everybody knew the Sabres had talent. We all said once they get it together, they're going to be a dangerous team. 10 in a row. There's a reason why I put them in my top 5, the hottest teams right now and best teams, because you cannot deny a 10-game winning streak. First time since 2018-19.
But what does it say about the fired general manager Kevin Adams? He composed this team.
Yeah, I mean, I was never a big fan of Kevin Adams. He come over from the accounting department, not a hockey guy. So
we played in the NHL. So
yeah, but I mean, you play in the NHL. Yeah, management is completely different. Look, Wayne Gretzky's the best player, one of the best players ever to play the game. He wasn't the best coach.
Right.
So it's apples and oranges. It's two different things. You got a guy like Jarmo Kekalainen in there, very aggressive GM. You saw what he did in Columbus. They upset Tampa Bay back in 2019. To me, I mean, Sabres, they got a newfound attitude right now. They're working with that swagger that was invented by the U, by the way.
Okay. And, well, lastly, what are you looking forward to for the Winter Classic tonight?
Just the atmosphere, the roof being open. Just see what the NHL does down here, South Florida. They always do great things for this, despite what the narratives are on social media. Everybody trying to hate, criticize. Watch it, then judge about everything, because guess what? It's going to be an awesome game, big, important game. I can't wait for it. And just to be here next to you, Rod, is going to be awesome, too.
It's been a lot of fun, buddy.
Always.
Well, I gave you a very special Miami night last night.
Yes, you did.
Tell the folks about that.
It was great. We went down South Beach, checked it out. Pier 5, it was hopping. Everybody salsa dancing. It was awesome. Great time down in Miami. Watched some football. Couldn't be happier to be here. It's been awesome. Great week, and it's only getting better.
It's pretty exciting when the U is winning, isn't it?
The best when the U is winning. The Miami Hurricanes, Michael Irvin. Oh, my God. This guy's on fire right now.
Irv. Has somebody checked on Irv since the New Year's Eve game? Oh, my God. I don't know if he can handle this run.
I don't think so. I don't think he can handle it whatsoever.
Well, it was kind of fun last night as we walked out of the Port of Miami area, the Bayfront Park area. Did you notice the high rises downtown were lit up in Miami Hurricanes colors? This town's going to rock.
Oh, my God. The semifinals are going to be lit next week in this town.
So, Winter Classic tonight. Jersey Jim and I will be there. Give them a follow, everybody. Jim Biringer on Twitter, Jersey Jim on Instagram, and where they can sign up for your Substack.
Yeah, Full Press Media on Substack. Please, guys. I love you guys when you do follow. A lot of comments on there as well. Full Press Hockey on YouTube as well. So check it out, and glad to be here, Rod.
All right, glad to have you, Mrs. Biringer. We're taking good care of your boy. We'll return him safely on Monday, and that's about it. 902-518-3033. If you have questions for our next guest, Jim Barker, the football man of all football men. Jim Barker coming up next. And Trey Dubuc, New Mexico Lobos long snapper, little later on here in Hour 2. You're watching the RP Show across Canada and 32 U.S. states, including New Jersey and New York on Game Plus Television, and across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. We will be right back. And again, one more time, the text line for Western Dodge, 902-518-3033.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, Pay? Done. Skycron.com/Regina.
RP Show continues, and does your message stand out? At Outlaw Communications, we make sure it does. Tony Plater brings 35 years of communication and leadership expertise to the role. Outlaw Communications, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. Football's a way of life for Jim Barker of the Toronto Argonauts. Happy New Year, Coach. How are you? How's the New Year's?
Fantastic. It's just everything's been fantastic. Had a great Christmas. The whole thing had last week off and with you, and I missed it deeply.
Yeah. I think we all did. Coach. It's nice to chat with you. And with all this football going on right now, I would be interested to know where you would like to start today.
Wow, we can start in. I mean, you pretty much have to start with those games yesterday. I thought, I never thought New Year's Day would be like it used to be, but it was. I mean, the three college football playoff games, they weren't all great games. But the whole concept, and then to finish with that Ole Miss Georgia game and just a good old SEC shootout, and it was just it was a great day. And even the night before, Ohio State and Miami, and watching how this is all played out. And as a football guy, I find it again the most fascinating thing that now 2 years, only one team that got the bye has won out of 8. That's mind-blowing to me. And it's when you get to that kind of number where only one team has been able to win, you look at it and say, well, what is the reason? Is it staleness? Is it so long without playing? I don't know. As a football guy, I find it a very interesting question.
Yeah, of course. But as a football guy, you guys always want the rest. If you have the choice, rest versus rust or whatever, you always want the rest, right?
Well, normally, I mean, I know in our situation in professional football, you have times where you're going to sit people. Do you sit them or play them? And that's, but they're talking about only 1 week off. You got to remember, these teams have been off for 3 weeks. Those teams that in the college football playoff, it's been 3 or 4 weeks. It's way different than the NFL and the CFL, where you're talking about, okay, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. I know a few years ago we had clinched the first place, and it was right after Labor Day, and had to decide how much to play guys. And yeah, you want to keep continuity going for sure, but you want to fight, not have injuries. So it's always a tough thing. But I find that whole thing fascinating, that the 3 week vacation basically, or break, and how that's panned out. Indiana, obviously, it worked out well for them. And Kurt Signetti said he had to run a few days like they were playing a game, and with that kind of intensity. And whether they lined up and actually played a mock game, I don't know. But whatever they did, teams should do that because they look dominating. I mean, Alabama did not look like any Alabama team ever. Indiana made them look silly. It was like the big boys playing the little boys. And is it the Big Ten versus the SEC and the way that's turning around? I don't know, but that was clearly, it's going to be an interesting run these last, the quarterfinals and semis and all that.
Worst playoff loss in Alabama program history, but they could fix this thing with the bye, Jim, by going to a 16-team college football playoff.
True.
Is that something that you think would work? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think more teams are going to. Notre Dame would have been in, which I think they should have been in. I didn't enjoy the whole. James Madison, they were valiant. They battled Oregon, but it was just, you knew it was going to happen. It was just a difference in athleticism, and when you're dealing in that kind of money, the difference in money between those schools, Tulane even. I think Tulane is a good football team. And they just got they met Ole Miss, who is, obviously showed last night they're a great football team. And I'll tell you this, the other thing about last night's game is I felt like Trinidad Chambliss basically made more money in that game than any college player has ever made in the game, because his stock value in the NFL had to take off. Again, I'm not even sure if he's in the portal, if he has another year. I don't know that. But what he did in that fourth quarter, after going 1-10 the first time they played Georgia, he was 1 for 10 in the fourth quarter. What he did in that fourth quarter last night was magical. It was truly magical.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because Rob in Las Vegas, who is a P1 viewer of ours, a Priority 1 viewer, a diehard, watches every day. He wants me to ask you if the CFL might be in the future for a guy like Trinidad Chambliss. You're saying NFL teams got
I would
they're
love
interested.
that. I would love that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see. What doesn't he do? His accuracy is off the charts. He can run. He can evade. He makes quick decisions. I mean, the one thing about that 2-point play when he threw the ball when the guy was still working on is he understands how to, and the anticipation you have to have of a guy being open, not waiting for him to get open. That's a big problem guys have in making the transition. I would love for Trinidad Chambliss to cut. Now, I mean, I think Saskatchewan has his right, so I wouldn't love that. But I think that would be great for the CFL. I don't see that happening. I think that he's, there's some interesting quarterbacks this year that you look at and say, are they going to be NFL guys? Dante Moore is a winner. Is he Bryce Young, or is he not quite Bryce Young? And, is he going to be an NFL guy? Is he Dylan Gabriel? Who is he? The core of quarterbacks this year, outside Fernando Mendoza, until watching Trinidad Chambliss, I don't know who you take. If you're the New York Jets and you need to get a quarterback, where do you go? You got to go Mendoza. I don't think there's anybody else, but you got to remember, you want to talk about domination. He threw 16 passes and beat Alabama, scored 38 points. They scored 38 points on Alabama. That is team domination. That is physically owning a team. When you only throw 16 passes and you beat a team that badly.
I'm just looking up the standings right now. The Raiders have the number 1 overall pick as we sit here today. So, and they need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback. Mendoza would be a great one for, the Raider. A lot of that their whole thing is, I think that's a match made in heaven. Now, can they get the offense around him and the other pieces? I think what makes Fernando Mendoza the Heisman Trophy winner is everything that's around him. He's got a great running back. He's got great receivers. He's got a great offensive line. Their defense is stellar. They've shown it week in and week out. So he's got a great football team around him. In the NFL, the difference isn't as great as maybe it is in some college football things. So, again, Indiana's going to line up against Oregon, a team with a whole lot of players. It'll be very, very interesting. A rematch. They actually played in Eugene, and Oregon never loses in Eugene except Indiana. So that to me is interesting. And then, you have obviously the Ole Miss and Miami game. Not everybody, but football fans thought it would have been great to see Carson Beck go against Georgia. But I love seeing Ole Miss there. And I think Ole Miss has a fantastic football team. Their lines are incredible. Their defensive line was dominant. I thought they were all over Gunner Stockton last night.
Have you seen the latest?
Not to be excited about. What?
Of course. Have you seen the latest that Lane Kiffin has bonuses in his contract if Ole Miss got this far? So now it's the whole thing is, well, look, they're going to the semifinals. Does Lane get the bonus? He built the team.
He should. He should.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the answer is, but that's one of the things that's being discussed here right now. What's the song? Rob in Vegas says they're already singing Fernando in Vegas. What's the song, Fernando? I'm sorry, I don't. If it's not country, I don't know it. Is there a song?
Fernando. Yeah, I can't sing, but yeah, there's a song that like that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Okay.
Fernando would be a great mix. He would be a great mix with the Raiders. That would work well.
Mike in Winnipeg writes in. He's watching from Ice Time Sports. He says, Happy New Year, Rod and Jim. Same to you, Mike. You and yours in Winnipeg. Before we switch to, it's ABBA. Okay, cool. Oh, they used to sing that to Fajardo. Fajardo, Fernando. Okay, yeah. Okay, I got it. We used to sing that for Cody, my guy. What do you think about the Dolphins bringing in Troy Aikman as an advisor to the hiring of their next GM? You must have seen that.
Yeah, again, Tom Brady to the Raiders and what's happened to that. It's Troy Aikman. That's great. He's a TV guy, and he sees everything from the outside. So he's basically a media guy who's going to go in and, Stephen Ross obviously has had problems with hires, and we'll see what happens. So I don't really have a comment either way about it. I don't know Troy Aikman. I don't know his, the whole key in hiring a GM is finding that guy that understands how to mesh. The hardest thing in all sports is the mesh between the GM and the head coach. And who did it? Was it good enough players, or was it not good enough players or not good enough coaching? It's one or the other. He's the guy who did it.
No, you said it right. You said it right. Tom Brady hasn't turned around the Vegas Raiders, and I know it's only been a couple of years, but don't think he didn't have his fingers in hiring Pete Carroll and signing Geno Smith. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And I look at Troy Aikman. Troy's my guy. I'm a Cowboys fan. I measure every quarterback up to Troy Aikman, and they all fall short. But he's never hired a GM. You couldn't find somebody better to consult than Troy Aikman, and I love Troy. He's never hired a GM, but anyways, that's a Dolphins thing. Enough about that. There are some Dogs games this weekend, but there's a pretty exciting one between Pittsburgh and Baltimore for the AFC North.
Well, there's
Would that be
three
the
games.
biggest?
There's three games that matter this weekend. 3 games. Obviously, Seattle and San Francisco, they're both going to be in the playoffs, but one of them's going to have the bye, and one of them's going to be the number 1 seed. And that's exciting. They're playing it in San Francisco, but you have to think, well, they're probably going to meet again to go to the Super Bowl. And, there's a couple games like that where teams have to be aware. The Chargers are playing Denver. Now, Denver's going to win the AFC. They're going to end up first in the West. The Chargers can't catch them. But there's a good chance they're going to be playing each other in the playoffs if they both win. What do you want to show them in this game? Are you going to rest your guys? Because winning the game doesn't matter. That's one of those games to watch, how the Chargers approach that game and how Denver approaches that game. So, again, it's a game that matters, but not like the 49ers. Like you said, the Steelers and Ravens, winner in, loser go home. That's what you want in the last
That's
game.
A playoff game.
And that's the only one we have like that.
Well,
Carolina.
And there's 4 games. The 4th is Carolina at Tampa on Saturday.
Bay.
Yeah. The odds are that the Bucs won't get in. Like, they need to win and have New Orleans beat Atlanta, I believe. It's a little convoluted. The odds are that Carolina will get in, and wouldn't that be a story if they did?
Yeah, it would be. That would be great. I mean, Carolina hasn't been in, I think, since 18. They haven't won the division since 15. So it's good to see them getting going again. Winning some games with that ownership. Since Mr. Tepper has come in, they've been brutal. And again, I always believe it starts with ownership, and that's why I mentioned Stephen Ross in Miami. And actually, back a few years ago, I can remember he brought Bill Parcells in, And Bill Parcells is probably better to consult on something like this because he's been a GM and he's had all those jobs. So kind of understands that. Troy has never coached. He's never been in a front office. So again, the players have their own views on things, and so that's interesting. But so we have the Steelers, Ravens, 49ers, Seahawks, Carolina, Tampa Bay, and that one, even though it's not winner go or loser goes home, and the Falcons have raised their head involved in it, it does make for some interesting football this weekend. After that 2 days of college football was all you wanted to talk about. It was outstanding New Year's Day. I thought we'd lost that with the bowl games and things with this thing, but not at all.
As they say, it would be hard to say that college football is broken after what we've been experiencing the last couple of days. Ryan in Saratoga says, I think I saw that Justin Herbert is being rested. So that does impact the Chargers-Broncos game for sure. And by the way, you talk about ownership. I had to Google who the head coach of the Panthers is. That's my bad. It's Dave Canales. And everything I've heard about the Carolina owner, he's at the end of the spectrum for owners. For if Canales can win the division with this guy, he should be winning Coach of the Year.
He could. That's very true. I mean, sometimes you overcome, and I think you look at the teams that don't ever make it. Arizona, with Mr. Bidwell or the Bidwell people, and they can't get it done. Mark Davis with the Raiders. I mean, we all miss Al from his days, but since Mark has had it, they haven't competed as much as I can remember. So, it all starts at ownership and no patience and understanding that knowing what you want. I'll give Bob Kraft credit. What he did in New England was, he kept the coach after Belichick for 1 year, and then Vrabel comes available, a New England guy. He brings Vrabel in. Vrabel then, has his people. They've got Elliott Wolf there, who understands what being the GM in New England is all about when you have a Bill Belichick or a Mike Vrabel there. But they did it right, and they went out and they got Drake May, who, if you wanted to cut a clone out of Tom Brady, probably Drake May is about as close as you could get to it. And he got in the right place and with the right coach. Josh McDaniels, he's the perfect guy for Drake May.
Oh, I love it. I love the story. I love Drake May. And I laugh at the Dolphins fans because they're looking up at Boston going, how come they can rebuild so fast? And there's a lot of New Yorkers down here. Same thing. Jets fans, how come the Patriots can rebuild so fast and we can't? You said it. Ownership. I don't want to say too much because the Dolphins people are watching. As I've learned. But, okay, Jim, Rook, we got 30 seconds. Jeff the Stamps fan wants to know if you'll be at CFL meetings and winter meetings in Calgary.
I will not. Actually, Pinball and Mike Miller will be there. John Huffnagel, I believe, is in Calgary because he lives there, so he'll probably go. I'm going to be in Florida. I'm leaving this week for Florida, so I've got the
look me up.
Bowl.
They're going to cut you off. They did. Okay, Jim, send me a text. Happy New Year, Coach, and thanks for the time. We'll be right back after this with Trey Dubuc.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Hey, we're back. How about that? Well, hey, if we have time a little later, we will do a sports update and we will do deal or no deal. Hey, what happened with Trey? There he is. Trey Dubuc is from the famous football playing Dubuc family, a family I've become quite close with in South Florida, and I thank Chris Jones for that. Trey, this interview goes real fast, and I want to talk to you about the CFL stuff in a second. So first, the college football playoff, the 4 quarterfinals. What were your thoughts from New Year's Eve and the triple header New Year's Day?
I mean, the biggest game was Ole Miss, Georgia. It just shows what a 4-quarter fight looks like. Because in my time being in college football, they talk about it being a 4-quarter game, playing complementary football, and just fighting longer and harder than your opponent.
By the way, folks, Trey is a long snapper at New Mexico. I want to point that out. Long snapper at New Mexico with the Lobos, lost in overtime on the Rate Bowl. We're going to get to that too. But continue, Trey. Sorry to interrupt. I know. Sorry, bro. Continue.
But as I was listening earlier, the Indiana-Alabama game, I mean, they do something similar to what we do for bowl prep. When you have that much time off, you got to be able to simulate certain speed. Like, we would practice in helmet and I don't know what they call them in the CFL. They're spider pads or soft shell shoulder pads. We practice light most of the time, and then we'll have a day where we go 20 periods, full pads, and just hit a little bit to keep your endurance. And in New Mexico, we're at 5,000, so that you're in a little more than most places. But I agree with they got to do something to get that almost a month-long vacation off, because I saw a tweet this morning from last year and this year. Teams with the first round bye are 1-7. I mean, the teams that are the best are falling short because they're basically getting a Christmas vacation and then playing a game.
Yeah. Well, to fix that, if they went to 16 teams, and I hope they do that, that wouldn't be a problem. I'm dying to ask you the CFL thing. You said you wanted to come on this show and talk about the balls. So in the time we have, what is it that you want to talk about with that?
Well, the phrase, you just threw me a little off guard, but so when
Sorry, buddy.
I know everyone's talking on Twitter about how all these just astronomical field goals. And I forget when I asked you this, but you told me they got rid of the rule where if you miss the kick and it goes out of the back,
Mm-hmm.
did that get rid of? They get rid of that?
They've modified it. They've modified it. They've changed it a little. We don't have time to get into it here. But if you miss a field goal, it goes right out of the stadium. You used to get a point for that, and you don't anymore. And by the way, Trey's dad, Matt, played in the CFL, won a Grey Cup with the Argos, played with the Bombers as well. But so you love the CFL. So continue.
But speaking off of that rule and the change, I mean, kickers are hitting unrealistic kicks. I know Cam Little, poor guy, didn't get the record during the preseason, 70-yard field goal. All he gets is a high five. But before this year, I know not a lot of people in special teams know this, but footballs are kind of everything, and they tailor them to the way you like them. Softer. I mean, if you break the leather and you can hit a ball 10 yards farther for a punter, it hangs up there an extra half a second to 3/4 of a second. And when you're allowing them to break the balls in advance, I think it's a week of, you get it on a Tuesday for a Sunday game. When you do that, you're just expanding the length and hang time of a kick. And I wish they did that in the CFL because you get more special teams players like me and my buddies watching it, just saying, oh, you see that guy? He hit a 70-yard field goal in the CFL. And I think it would really bring more attention because that happened during fall camp, and that's all everybody was talking about. I remember all of our kickers got asked, hey, can you do that? Can you do that? And they're like, whoa, because no one understands it. You used to only be able to get a game or get the ball in the game 90 minutes when the 90-minute clock hits. So you only get that amount of time to break the footballs in. Now, can you throw them a lot easier?
They're kicking us off, Trey.
Yeah,
so the balls are juiced is the proper term. I told you that it went fast. I'll explain it all, everybody, when we come back. But, Trey, this was great. Have a great weekend, my guy. Good job.
You too. Thank you.
I told him it goes by real fast. Trey Dubuc, New Mexico Lobos.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody. That was a lot of fun with Trey Dubuc, wasn't it? I told him it goes by real fast. And great job, by the way, today, producer Corey. This has been, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's kind of been like standing on the I-95, 12 lanes, zing, 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 zing. We went through it, and it's been a lot of fun. But here's the thing with Trey. He's a long snapper in New Mexico, and we were at the Panthers game the other night. Matt Dubuc is his dad, and Matt's been on this show many, many times. When I came to Florida 5 years ago, Chris Jones gave me a list of names. Chris Jones. These are guys y'all need to look up. And some I did, some I didn't. And some people you click with, and some you don't. And I did with the Dubuc family to the degree that we all talk every day. So I was at the Panthers game with him the other night, and he's like, how do I get on your show? I said, you just ask. It ain't that hard. And he's been on me for quite some time about these the footballs that the CFL uses. And I mean, it's changed over time. I haven't been in the league for 7 years, so I don't totally know how it works. But what Trey was explaining there is, in the NFL, you've got offensive footballs, you've got defensive footballs, and you've got special teams footballs. That's not the case in college, and I don't think it's the case in the CFL. I think there's offense and defense. I don't think there's special teams specific balls. But what Trey is saying is that you want to know why there were 70-yard field goals, or why it's routine now to have a 60-yard field goal in the CFL. And anything like 40 to 50 is automatic, because the balls are, depending on the terminology you want to use, juiced. Now, he's not old enough, Trey, like us, that know the negative connotation to the term of juiced balls, because that's what was happening in Major League Baseball with all the home runs back in the day. Those balls weren't juiced. The players were. Still, negative connotation. So Trey wanted to come on here and explain that that's what's going on in the NFL, and I appreciate him for that. Because not a lot of the football guys ran. They didn't want to say. Trey doesn't care. Arlen Bruce has checked in. Hey, AB. He says, Happy New Year, RP. 2026 will be the year of manifestation. Well, it has been for me, AB, for quite some time. I got to tell you that. So giddy up. It's been great. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the ball should stay the same. I'm not going to get into that argument because I don't have the time or the energy, or quite frankly, even the knowledge. I'm just telling you what's going on and why it's changed. Whether it should or not my department. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says as well, he says, New Mexico or New Mexico State? It's New Mexico, the Lobos. But in the end, it's not really going to matter. That's Trey's story to tell, not mine. Brent in Saskatoon writes, and he says, there's lots of hockey and football to watch tonight. And this weekend shouldn't be boring. No, I mean, as our good friends at Hockey Canada said to me some years ago now, they said, your show is the perfect pregame show for all of those shows. I'm like, well, that's what I think. The sports update here in overtime. That hasn't changed. New year, same wonderful sponsors. Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. They will host your team party, your office party, your birthday party. You name it. Go look up Randy and Michelle. Tell them you saw us talking about them on the RP show. That will help. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. Sports update real quickly. The U.S. unveiled its roster for the upcoming Milan Cortina Winter Olympics this morning, with the vast majority of it comprised of players who took part in the Four Nations face-off last February. The only additions were forwards Tage Thompson and Clayton Keller and defenseman Seth Jones. Not on the team from last year's Four Nations face-off are Anaheim's Chris Kreider and the Rangers' Adam Fox. As mentioned earlier with Coach Barker, Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman will be advising the Miami Dolphins in their search for a new general manager. Aikman, who led the Dallas Cowboys to 3 Super Bowl wins and is now an ESPN analyst, isn't expected to remain with the organization beyond their GM search, according to ESPN. I mean, I love Troy, but as I said with Coach Barker earlier, you never hired a GM before. Sometimes these owners just fall in love with the glitz and the glamour of the guys that are on TV. Hey. Somebody was writing in here earlier. This is the one thing, and I know we don't have a lot of time left in today's show, but I was saying earlier, I've been in this business 37 years. That's like 30 years longer than most that are even in it now. Things have changed, and people are writing in here with updates of the scores of the Armed Forces Bowl that's on now, and the first of the quarterfinals of the World Juniors, Latvia, Sweden, or whatever. I mean, over 95% of our viewers are watching after the show's off the air. They're coming back and watching it. Over 95%. So I'm not going to sit here and update the scores as we go along. That's going to be number one, it's going to spoil it for people. And number two, it'll be old news. So I understand there's a lot of people that they're not following the trends like I am, but just leave it to me. I am. That's why we don't update the scores as we go along. Brent in Saskatoon says, enjoy the Winter Classic. Panthers game tonight. Bundle up, stay warm, and greetings to Ron Duguay if you see him. Oh, it's the highlight of my week. It's been the highlight of my year so far. Ron Duguay, supposed to be meeting up with him. Childhood idol of mine. I guess we'll see if Dukes puts his money where his mouth is. He said on this show, you all were watching, I'll be at the Winter Classic. I'll be in the Rangers suite. I'll see you there. Sarah's not coming. So we'll see. That's what I'm looking forward to tonight. So it's been a busy day. We get through this show, got a pregame party downtown, and then we'll get into Lone Depot Park and we'll have a big time. The game's not going to end till midnight. So yeah, thanks for tagging along, everybody. Thanks for ringing in 2026 in fine style. Great job, producer Corey, on a busy show. And we will do it all again Monday with a lot of special friends and fun here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
Dad,